What? Seriously? Now this is it. This is what I'm talking about. Whoa, okay. All right. Now, I don't know about you all, but I personally love the doghouse slot. It's bright, cheerful, straightforward, and most importantly, capable of massive jackpots. No wonder it's so popular. But there's a bit of a catch. Sometimes it's really tough to land those big wins. You might jump in for a casual session, hoping to relax, only to have the slot basically tell you, hand over your money and get lost. And of course, that kills the mood and any sense of relaxation. That's exactly why I decided I needed a strategy, some way to avoid the negative feelings. Now, I spent a lot of time and effort playing this slot to find a technique that could actually turn a profit. And guess what? I believe I found one. So let me show you how it works. Now, as you've probably seen in the video title, I recently turned $100 into $7,000. And I'll be honest, even for someone as experienced as me, that was a bit of a shock. Now, it started when I accidentally did a certain sequence of things once. Boom, got a bonus round. Tried the same sequence again, second time, third time, and I have no idea how, but it kept working. Now, of course, not always, but in around 6 out of 10 tries, I'd get 3 or 4 bonus rounds in a single session. Coincidence? Maybe. But the stats speak for themselves. In 6 out of 10 sessions, using this fresh strategy, I triggered profitable bonus rounds. So, let me show you how I played. And maybe my approach will work for some of you as well. As you can see, I started my game with $100. Now, for the first bonus round, I decided to only spin using the auto spin feature. Now, contrary to all the myths and superstitions you might have heard, people claiming you can't win on an auto spin, based on my personal experience, there is nothing inherently bad about it. If a slot wants to give you a bonus, it'll give you that bonus regardless of how you spin. And if it doesn't want to drop a bonus, well, that's not the fault of an auto spin. It's just the slot being stingy. So, I kicked off the session with a $2 bet per spin. Now, that's a good starting bet because it means I have about 50 spins to land a bonus round. And funnily enough, right from the very first spin, the slot signaled that bonuses would definitely be coming today. Unfortunately, for the next 30 spins or so, there was nothing significant, just small wins here and there, nowhere near what I was hoping for. Now, my balance was dropping dangerously close to zero, and I was starting to get nervous. But patience paid off, and the situation took a dramatic turn. I finally got my first bonus round. And wow, was it a good one. 16 spins showed up on the reels. So, where are all those people who say auto spin is pointless, huh? Now, anyway, we still needed to see how much that bonus would actually pay because we all know more spins doesn't always mean bigger wins. But from the 4th spin onward, I started getting a cascade of doghouse wilds. One landed on the bottom row, another on the top, and then 2 more on the sides. And that alone would have been plenty. But the slot then dropped 2 more houses in the middle and eventually filled the top row. I heard my favorite win sound. Now, 240 in a single spin, then 270, 340, $370, plus a bit of smaller change. Wow, what even was that? Now, that's what I was thinking at the time. $1,592 from a $2 spin, which is nearly 800 times my bet. Now, I figured a bonus might drop, but I definitely wasn't expecting something that big. So, I think that pretty much settles any debate about whether auto spin can be effective. At that point in my session, even though the win was already pretty solid, I was certain the slot was in its payout cycle, meaning there would be more bonuses to come. So, I stuck to my strategy of doubling the bet after a bonus, switched to manual spins, and started looking for the second bonus round. The doghouse is one of those slots that rewards patience, so I didn't have to wait long for the next bonus rounds. I fed a couple $100 into it via normal spins, but it was definitely worth it. Here it is, let's go. This time, I was less lucky with the number of free spins. But as I said, it's the quality of the spins that truly matters. Right from the second spin, a doghouse wild landed, but I had to wait a while for the second one. Now, I thought maybe it wouldn't drop at all, but I finally got it. Plus, a top tier symbol, the blue dog. Now, immediately after that, a third doghouse appeared, followed by 2 more blue dogs in a single spin, netting me $166 right there. Now, by the end of the bonus, my balance was up to $1,800. So far, the strategy of doubling my bet after each bonus is working nicely. Time to move on. Now, once again, I doubled my bet. Now, it was at $8 per spin, and I'll admit, this stretch of the session was tough. I kept spinning and spinning, watching my balance shrink without hitting any sizable wins. It was disheartening. From an outsider's perspective, it probably looked like the slot had gone cold, determined to claw back all of my previous wins. Now, a lot of people might have quit right then and there, but not me. I've seen this pattern in Doghouse. After 2 profitable bonuses, it usually hits a sort of recharge phase, where you have to feed it some money before it starts paying out again. Now, it sounds a bit superstitious, but that's just my observation over countless sessions, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. Now, when it was all said and done, I sacrificed about $1,000 to the slot in this recharge phase, which was scary. My palms were sweating. But eventually, I got the 3rd bonus. It had just 10 free spins, so I wasn't sure if that was good or bad. Let's see how it went. On the 3rd spin, I landed a wild in a decent position, netting a little money. By the end, I got a bigger Cascade, and in just 3 spins, I made over $1,000, regaining everything I spent during that tough stretch. So I was back at $2,000, even more confident that my strategy was on the right track. That bonus effectively ended the slot's feed me phase, so I decided to keep doubling my bet, this time up to $16 per spin, aiming to catch the 2nd bonus in the new cycle, and the 4th bonus overall. Playing at this bet size is no joke. You need solid willpower because your balance can vanish in no time. Now, it's easy to lose patience and bail before the slot triggers another bonus. I used to do that too, but I've learned. If the Doghouse is in a payout cycle, it usually drops 2 bonuses in a row and then re-enters a recharge phase. So, after landing that first bonus in the new cycle, I was determined to push on for the 2nd. How did it go? Take a look. I turned on autoplay at a $16 bet, and the slot started gobbling up my balance faster than ever. Still, it wasn't as dire as spending $2 with only $100 total, since I now had $2,000, meaning I could afford about 125 spins, giving me a much better chance to trigger a bonus round. So I just kept spinning, and around the 60th or 70th spin, I got it. A bonus with 11 free spins. Now initially it didn't seem too exciting, but midway through things picked up, and by the end it was clear this was a great bonus. I walked away with $3,500 in total balance. Remember, that's all from an original $100 deposit, a 35 times increase on my deposit. That's fantastic. And under normal circumstances, after seeing 4 bonuses, 2 cycles of 2 bonuses each, I'd usually cash out, which is exactly what I'd advise most of you to do too. More than 4 bonuses in a single session is rare. But I'm me, so I decided to press on. After all, those $3,400 are basically a gift from the casino, so why not gamble it to create even more excitement content for you guys? Now, worst case, I'd only lose my initial $100 deposit. At least that's how I saw it at the time. However, do note, beyond this point, the chance of landing another bonus is very small, and playing on even higher bet levels is seriously risky. But if you love a big thrill the way I do, you might want to try. So I cranked up the bet another 2 times to $32 and started spinning. This was intense. Now, I knew I was technically gambling with house money, but once it hit my balance, it was 100% mine. Now, watching it disappear so quickly is nerve-wracking, but I knew I could afford about 100 spins at $32, so there was a decent chance of a bonus eventually dropping. And indeed, after feeding the slot roughly another grand, the bonus finally appeared at $32. At this point, I was really on edge because a single bonus round could bring an astronomical win, or it could flop completely. Now, the bonus gave me only 10 spins, so my hopes dropped a little. But on the 2nd spin, I landed my first wild, which at least gave me a shot. Unfortunately, the 2nd wild only showed up near the end. It wasn't a total disaster. I got $422 out of it, bringing my balance to about $2,800, which was still enough for about 90 more spins, so I kept going, determined to chase another bonus. Now, I kept spinning for quite a while with little hope of a lucky break. There was no sign that things would turn around. Hitting 5 bonuses in a single session was already rare. Getting 6 seemed, well, nearly impossible. I gave back another $1,000, preparing myself mentally to lose it all, when suddenly, after just a few more spins, it happened again. Honestly, I was shocked. 5 bonuses in one session is already huge. Here came the 6th, and at a $32 bet no less. All right, let's see what we get. This time, the slot awarded me 12 free spins, so that's a nice improvement. I got a wild right on the first spin, a terrific sign, but I know how the doghouse can be. It might tease you with a good start, only to pay peanuts in the end. So I stayed on the edge, not celebrating too soon. Thankfully, the second and third wild appeared pretty quickly in great positions, and each spin began paying over $150. By now, I was safely in profit, but still not ready for what came next. Another wild dropped in, followed by a full line of bones, netting $1,700 in a single hit. Now, honestly, I could have stopped right there, mission accomplished. But the doghouse wasn't done yet. Another wild appeared, followed by a big win, and then 2 more. It was a total blowout. By the end of this surprise bonus, I was up $5,400 just from that round alone, for a grand total of $7,000 in my balance. And that's all from a $100 deposit. Absolutely insane. So let's sum it all up. After 2 good bonus rounds, the slot often goes into a recharge phase, where it'll eat some of your balance before paying out again. The key is not to panic and leave too soon. 2. Auto spins are not detrimental. That's a myth. If the slot intends to pay, it'll pay, regardless of whether you spin manually or automatically. 3. The doghouse is all about patience and strategic bet increases. Start small, wait for the bonus, and then raise your bet. Let it recharge and raise again. This approach significantly boosts your chances of taking money from the slot rather than feeding it. 4. Above all, know when to quit. Had I not been recording content, I would have likely stopped after the bonus at $16 bets. Continuing beyond that is extremely high risk. I only did it because I'm making videos, and an even bigger win makes for more exciting content. I hope it was worth it. If you liked my strategy, go ahead and try it out, but don't lose your head. And if you're looking for even more proven strategies for other slot games, check out our website. You'll find the link below the video, or just search for it online. Our website is packed with high-quality strategies from professional gamblers, plus tons of valuable and unique information to help you play smarter, more confidently, and more profitably. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video and check out my next one right here. Now, I'm sure you'll enjoy it too.